Alright, welcome back to 30-Day Scripting Challenge. Completely forgot what day it was today. I think it's 22 or 21. No, actually, it's 23. It's day 23. The trading system. So, I'm currently sick right now. I got stupid virus or whatever. I don't even know what I got, but anyways, my nose is clogged, so recording this video was something I didn't really want to do because for anyone who's gotten a clogged nose before, talking is super, annoying, right? But anyways, I'm doing this. I just want to get it over with. In Sarge UI, I just simply made a panel here for trading. As you can see, I put a couple of frames here where the actual trade will be happening here, and then the players you could trade with, and then your items here. So notice why I made this notifier panel though, where we're just gonna put text labels in it to show that there's a player who wants to trade with you. So anyways, I've got a flowchart open on, and we're basically just gonna follow off of a flowchart because flowcharts are really good. And I stopped making it on a lucid chart. I just gave up. So we're just using this simple link here. So the first part of our flowchart is simply getting the trade initialized. So we want to do that by first getting when the player has sent a trade request to the player. So we'll simply grab the module script here that we're going to use to run our init, right? So we'll say function trade UI dot init. Now the first thing we want to do is actually populate the thing. the thing. So let's make a populate player count where once this runs, we're simply going to get the player card inside of the thing, and we're going to check if the player card is a text bind. If it is, we're going to destroy it because we don't want duplicates. Then we're going to populate it with all the players. So we're then going to we're going to get all the players, and we're going to check if the player, if it's not us, then we're going to clone the player card template, put it inside player list, connect a listener to it. So we'll say local clone will equal to, so we'll do those three simple things, and then we're going to connect a listener to it. So we'll say clone.activated, or actually we'll use mouse button one click, or maybe activated. That button's activated, we're going to start the trade right here. So anyways, in our init, we're going to run the populate player list function here. So as a matter of fact, just to make sure everything works properly. For those of you wondering, because our trade system will require 2 people, we're going to run the local server with the 2 players here. And this is what's going to let us test it. So the first panel that opens is our server, and then 2 more panels will open, which is going to be player 1 and player 2. So here we go, I have player 1, and I've got player 2 right here. I'm going to click on trade, and I forgot to script the open panel. Whoops. We need to connect the listener here. So trading frame dot open. Alright, simple open and close logic here. I need to go to the test here. So a lot of people don't know about this. If you click start with 2 players, right, you'll get a server and you'll get your two players, right? So I click trade, it is not opening. I think it has to do with activated. There we go. Let me turn active on there. And let's go back to the start. I'm not going to talk a lot in this video. I'll only talk at points throughout the code because my nose is killing me. So anyways, right? I cannot rotate my camera, but if I click trade, what is going on? Okay, so it turns out that you can only use .activated in a local script. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I guess we'll use mouse button one click for now, I guess. I think another way to do it was simply just to tie the .open into the local script and have it run the stuff in there, but whatever. So now I should be able to still not open the trade. What the heck? Oh, okay, so I'm a little stupid. I didn't call the init function, which means activated should work now because, I'm stupid. No, I'm actually even more stupid. I guess I can't use activated. Okay, I'm also triple stupid. What the heck? Okay, I guess I had my run context wrong then. I was running it through Storage UI instead of through Player GUI. I guess that's something I should have known. Okay, anyways, now this should open properly. There we go. I just had to tinker with the run context, I guess. But now if we go to the local server here, I should be able to open this and I'll see player 2 here. And if I look at my server, it's not printing activated for some reason. And if I look here, it'll show me player 1, right? Okay, anyways, we got this portion down here. So now we simply just need to get a method to tell the server that the player is wanting to trade with the other certain player, right? Also, I did do a little extra looking around. It's generally better to keep your remote events pre-created, so I guess I'll do that here. We're gonna want to get a remote event, or actually we could do a remote function here saying send trade request. So we'll say local success will equal to send trade request invoke server. And as a matter of fact, we're going to pass in the player here because that's the player we want to trade with. Now, let's go over to the server and let's make a module script. And in here, let's go on ahead and grab replicated storage as well as the send trade request. Now, here, we're basically going to check when the remote is activated. We're going to refer to the players as player A and player B, or player and the target basically is who we're going to be trying to trade with. Now, we also want to connect a player added function, or actually we don't even need this because we'll just create it whenever we need to. So we're going to check, or we could actually make a function for this for modularization. So we could say function we'll say initialize trade, and we're going to pass in player A and player B. And in here, we're going to check if not trading service player A and not trading service player B, then we're going to basically say that they're right. So if player A and player B don't have an active trade session in this that has been stored, we're going to create a new trade. So trading service player A will equal to a table, and we're going to populate that table. Or no, there's a better way we can do this. We're going to get a HTTP service here, and we're going to make an ID for the trade. So we're going to say local UID equal to HTTP service generate GUID. And we're going to set the trading service player A will equal to the UID. Trading service player B will equal to the UID. And trading service UID will equal to a table where we're going to store player A with capital P, player B with the capital letter, just for identification. And we're also going to want a couple of things. We want to know if they're ready, right? But we're not going to worry about the rest of this yet, because we first want the UI to actually open, right? So at the end of here, we're simply just going to return true, and if we're going to return false, meaning they can't trade, right? You also actually want the players to start a trade, right? So as a matter of fact, I might actually change this. We're just gonna say local result, right? It'll equal to this, and we'll return the result, and we're gonna put some stuff in between here, right? So once we have our results, we're gonna check if result, then we're going to tell the other client to start the trade. Or actually, never mind, actually, we're gonna do it inside of the initialized trade portion. So right here, I'm gonna make let's make a remote event here. And I will simply call this to be for the start trade session, right? And we'll grab this here, we'll say local start trade session, storage, share start trade session. And here, we're simply gonna say start trade session fire client. We'll put in player A, and we'll put in player B. And I actually think that there is a networker that you can use that'll allow you to fire multiple players. I just don't know which one it is, because there's like 4 different networkers that are popular right now. I could be wrong on this, but this is just what I can recall. I'm gonna actually get into networkers before that challenge ends. But anyways, right now, once this runs, let's grab the remote event. Or no, actually, I'm gonna have this before here. So once this occurs, we're gonna want to say we're going to want to tell the UI module here, that's the UI module, to initialize trade UI. So we'll say function trade UI colon open trade session, right? Close that. We want to have the other player passed in as well. So let's actually have it send in the other player. We'll say trade UI colon open trade session, put player B in. Now here, let's define some more of the UI here. So inside our main, we're gonna have, basically we're gonna use all this. And this is just UI that I pre-created. It looks terrible. I'm not a UI designer. I tried to be, but it's too much work. So we first want main.visible to be equal to true, right? And we want to update all of the UI accordingly. So let's set main.player a.text will equal to, alright, that's all. See for now. Let's go make sure that it's working here. So we actually need to make the pop-up first to allow the player to, there we go. So this opens it for both of us. Now let's make the pop-up to actually do that. So let's say function trade UI colon notify, and we'll put in the player B here. And instead of saying open trade session, we're going to say colon notify, where we're going to grab the player card template, local clone will equal to trading frame, player card, not that one, the notifier, clone dot parent will equal to the notifier panel. So, and then here we're gonna check clone dot activated, clone connect function. Also, I'm gonna rewrite this, by the way. I'll make a something for accepting the trade, right? So it shouldn't be the start trade session. It should be notify user. So we only need to fire it to player B, right? So we're gonna grab something here, and we're gonna say notify user. We're then gonna call notify. Then here we're gonna call start trade session. Now back to our server, we can check on server event connect function player A player B. Well, as a matter of fact here, this is actually the, and as a matter of fact here, I did this wrong again. We should probably put notify user right here, and initialize trade should go right there. And this shouldn't return anything. This should simply just be a, I don't know what I was doing there, but it doesn't need to be a remote function actually. So we can actually simply check on, if not trading service player B, then we'll just say notify user and then return, like, you know, notified, right? And then, you know, you could put a return. Why did I just type else? Okay, so this is our session here. This is the trading session. So they're gonna start the trade session. When they get it, they're going to run the initialize trade. We're here, we're going to tell them to open the UI. So we'll say, actually, we'll just say request session as the name of their remote event. And then I'll make a remote event called start trade session. I should not have like fully done that, but okay, whatever. Local start trade session. I don't even think I need it on this end actually. Alright, and now we'll run it here, but we're going to say start trade session fire client, player A, player B, player A, player B, just like that. Back here, we can now say start trade session on client event, connect function, where player B is what we're passing. We'll say trade UI, open trade session, player B, and that should work. So let's go test it out here, where I can now click this with player 2. It is not creating a thing here. So let's trace it back then. So we're calling the send trade request, and we call notify user, where we connect it back here. Oh, I didn't set you to be visible. And then also, behind the listener, actually, we need to have it destroy itself after 5 seconds, delete the listener. So we'll say local connection, and we'll set the connection to equal this. And once they run the fire server, put a task.delay here for 5 seconds. And yeah, that'll clean it up and prevent memory leaking. So let's try that one more time here. Okay, as you can see, I have the thing here, and after 5 seconds, it should go away, as you can see. And I can keep sending him trade requests, and I'll keep going, but it's really tiny, you know. I can like hardly see that at all. So I'm gonna actually make it a little bigger here. Anyways, let's actually test if it will open or not. So let this all load up here. Click the trade, click Q, and okay. So it's only opening the UI for us, not for the player A, basically, or player B, I guess. So we just have to call this too. So now it should open it for both clients. And no, it's not. Okay. Oh, what am I doing? It's here, right? We want to initialize trade. Oh, that's why I need to swap you around like that. Okay, do this. Perfect. Now it opens for both of us. So here it's showing player 2, but then here it's showing player 1 for both ends. That is working beautifully. Okay, let's now work on finishing up the rest of the interface. So we actually need to get the items that we want to put in the trade. So in this case, I will make a function here to request the player data, or not request, we'll say get player data. And I'm also going to grab the profile module, which is how we store our data, and I'll say local data, or well, local profile will equal to profile module, we'll get profile player. If profile, then we're going to return profile.data, and we'll return the player's data over. Now let's make a remote function here to get the data. Well, I actually already have one here, but we'll just say get player profile, and that will wrap it up nicely. Now back down here, we're going to grab the player's profile. Our local data will equal to, we'll set the visible part to be at the end, by the way. So load up the inventory. So we're going to loop through all the items in the inventory. So for underscore item, or actually we'll have a cleanup function for that, so I won't do that. So in this case, the way I had my profile module set up here is it has an inventory right here. So anyways, I just got distracted with a little stuff up here. We're going to want to get the inventory item, the template here, right? So let's actually get the, I do clone.parent will equal to the inventory, and then we're going to want the text to be the item. So when we activate the button, right, we need to add it to our offer. That'll update between both ends, right? So let's make sure that everything is updating correctly. Now these guys technically should have data. So if I do this, here we go. We have item 1, item 2, item 3, item 1, item 2, and item 3. That's perfect. Also, I'm gonna set the text for the timer thing here to be like an arrow to the other side, I guess, just to show it's being traded. Alright, now when the item is actually added, we want to tell the server to add it to our session. So as a matter of fact, here, let me go to my transfer. In this, we're going to want to make player A items, which will be a table here, and player B items. Or actually, let's just call it offer, I guess. So that way, we can put stuff in it when the player has done the thing, right? So we're obviously going to want a remote function for adding an item and updating the thing back, right? So let's go make a remote event and let's call it update session. Go up here to the top, local update session equals get storage share remotes update session. Here we're going to say update session fire server. Maybe we should actually send the session ID. So I'll pass in the UID as a third parameter here, so that way the server can access it. So what's that? Start trade session. Yeah, so it gives us player B as well as the UID. So have that get carried along here, and we'll put the UID in here, so it'll be able to find our session really easily. Now, back on the trading service side, we're going to connect another listener here. The local update session equal to replicate storage share.remotes.update session. I probably should just make a remotes folder variable. Save a lot of time here. Now, down here, we're going to say update session on server event, golden connect function, the player, and the UID should be passed here. Oh, also, we need to have the item as well. The item needs to be passed as well as the UID. And then the item here should be a string, I guess. I don't even need this, honestly. So, we can just simply make a function to update the session. So I can say function trading service update session, and we'll just say trading service update session offer. Pass in that item, pass in the UID. So say local session will equal to the trading service UID, and we'll say table.insert. Actually, we need to first get the type of player too. So we'll put in all three of these variables. So first we need to check what player it is, right? So __ player, or yeah, player in trading service, or actually in the session. We want to check if the player, actually I should just call this like V or whatever. If the V is equal to the player, actually we need to get the I actually as well, get the key. So if the key is equal to player A and V is equal to player, then we're going to update the player offers. So we'll say session dot player A offer, or actually we need to insert it. Table.insert player session dot player A for item. Else if the key is equal to player B and V is equal to the player, then we're going to do the exact same thing, but for player B. Now, once this is done, we need to make a return remote function. So I can go ahead and make another remote event, and I can call this update trade UI. So say it local update trade UI, update trade UI, and I will call here update trade UI fire client. We actually need to tell both players. So we'll say the session dot player A, and we'll pass in the session here as well. Now on our client, we can say local update trade UI, so hit storage.share.remotes.update trade UI. Down here we can say update trade UI on client event connect function. I'm pretty sure we just passed in the thing, right? Just the UID. No, I don't think it was the session. Connect, have the session passed in. Where here we're gonna tell the trading service to update the trade server. We'll tell the UI to update, and also we'll connect our listeners for the accept and cancel buttons here as well as the currency. So accept, cancel, currency input, and our timer will have it run later. So we'll say function trade UI update UI. And here we're pretty much going to remove the item from the player's inventory, remove the actual thing. Oh, and also we should do a verification. We actually need to make sure that the player has the item. So local data will equal to trading service can get player data player, and we're actually looking at inventory. So if not player dot, or not, if not data, actually the inventory is an array, so we'll just say if not table dot find data dot inventory item, we're simply just going to return. Because that means the player is trying to spoof an item into the trade, which it's not gonna happen. Anyways, in our update UI here, we want the session info, so the client knows what to update. I'll just simply call it trade UI update UI. And here we're simply going to take out the item from the player's inventory first. So we'll say for underscore item in main.inventory do. We're simply going to remove it. Say if item. Oh, we actually need to. Oh, you know what I can do? I can actually just turn update session into a remote function. Wait, no, update session. Invoke server. We'll turn true right there. Now, we'll say global success. This is actually a success. The if success, then connection and disconnect. And clone, destroy. Now, in our update UI thing here, we're simply going to... We need to add support here for adding items back in. So we're simply just going to loop through all the items in session. So for underscore... Or no, we simply just want to like repopulate everything. Oh, maybe I should actually put a cleanup function in here then. Hey, you know what? Maybe I should just change it to be... have its parent be inside player A items. Will be main player A items. Also make one to like remove the item. So I'll just simply make remote function saying remove item from session. Nice name, I know. We'll say I'll put that here and I'll say local removed will equal to invoke server item and the UID if removed. Then we're going to say second disconnect, and then the clone.parent will equal to the main.inventory. Okay, made that so it should remove, and then it'll call the update trade UI, but should work on like a cleanup logic here. Yeah, I think probably gonna store the active connections so I don't have to keep like that this chain thing at the bottom here. I don't want to really have to use that, but I can also keep the current session UID as well. Okay, I can make a cleanup function, right? I call cleanup, right? And I'm sure I loop through all the connections basically. Oh, that's actually a type. I didn't know that. I thought it was something else. Wait, what am I stupid? It is a freaking type, bro. I'm gonna clear the table out here. Now we can also probably clear all the item buttons too, right? So for underscore child and main.inventory get children. If the child is a text button, right? If it's a text button, we just want to destroy it basically. And then also copy the same thing over, but for player items as well. Probably like clear the current session thing as well. So let's run that here. Just to give it a name too. I don't want it to. So like item and then like underscore the item because it's just showing you. Okay, and then with our cleanup function, it should automatically help us with that. Should probably delete the second connection. I don't really need it. And I can also put in our active connections, the current connection here. So it should just like run through like on its own basically when the server calls it. Alright, so let's work on our update UI. First want to verify our session exists and also determine what our player is. So say like local is player A would be equal to session.player A is equal to players dot local player. So if it's false, we automatically know where player B. So that's it. I might actually just change it to the other one too. So anyways, we'll grab our offer. We'll say local. I just said we'll say they'll say whatever the heck that was. Holy, I'm like glitching out, bro. Okay, so grab our container and their container, which is where we're going to store all of their offer items. Sure data exists. Loop through all of the inventory and check if the child is a text, but we'll just destroy it. We can do our disconnection here. So we could put a for I loops if y is equal to 1, and then the number of active connections. So we'll just clean up our old inventory connections here, then we'll repopulate the inventory with items that are currently not in the offer. So it is an offer. We'll search inside, check if not is an offer. Then we'll say local clone will equal to main.item template. Clone.parent will equal to the main.inventory. Clone.text will equal to the item. Clone.is will equal to true. Clone.name will equal to that good old item underscore and push that item thing in. Push. Holy bro. This is what being sick and staying late until like 5 in the morning with fever dreams does to a person, bro. And by the way, you could do it like this apparently. I didn't actually know that you could do that. surprisingly. Okay, now we can repopulate our offer now. So do the children, or the child, text button, destroy the child. That sounds wrong, but whatever. And then in our offer, we'll grab the clone. So set local connection, to clone activated, clone connect function, we'll say local removed, we'll go to remove item from session, colon invoke server. So I just cleaned up the logic that I had here with all the steep connection nesting and refactoring that to be down here. And then server will handle the update basically. So it's about search, connections, not content, bro, the connection. Thank you. Okay, now we can once again clear and repopulate their offer, but for the view only, I guess, right? Yeah, it would just be in their container, so in their container, not their offer, their container. Go children. Say if child code is a text button, say child colon destroy, and just clone like all the text buttons again, right? So it's just that. Okay, and this is already wrapping the update UI portion, and we are running the update UI event here. So everything should be good there. We have it all cleaning itself up properly, and let's go on ahead and test it out. So I can open this, right? And we've got item 1. Just to click item 1, it puts it in, but it removes every item from my inventory and every item from the other player's inventory, as well as not displaying it. Let's put some print statements here. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So I changed it to make sure that it's not in the inventory. Oh, well, other way around actually. What am I doing? Alright, trade, there to accept. Alright, so I add item 1 in. Okay, here we go. Trigger 45, attempt to concatenate string with instance. Oh, okay, hold on. That's simple fix. There we go. Attempt to iterate over no value at 159 here in data.inventory. So data.inventory is existing. Okay. Oh, I made a typo. Thought inventory. Stupid typo, bro. Yeah, that's why you gotta make sure your spelling is correct. Okay, perfect. I have now added the item, but it went into player 2's box. Okay, so we simply just gotta change it then. So I actually just like change this to use main.player.a items and main.player.b items. And that literally should just fix it. We don't really need the determining to figure out what our thing is, because that's just gonna overlap, because player A's box is always on this side, right? So there we go. Adds it here, adds it on that side. If I click it, it does nothing. And as a matter of fact, you can even disable this box that appears. It's like the auto GUI color. You could just disable that. And if I click this, it does not add the item back. Okay, so maybe let's store the old connections. Actually, we just delete this block here, because I think what's happening is the connection's being cleared before the server can actually make an action. So I could put a delay, like a 0.1 second delay. Or I could put a defer. I think defer would also work. Or we could just like not use this block at all, honestly. Because cleanup should hopefully still happen in that function, the cleanup function. So we don't need to take out the remote events early. So we'll put you in, and it's still not taking the item out. I can add more items in. That's cool, but I can't take them out. Wait, maybe like removed is just like false. Let's see what it's actually printing. Yeah, okay. So removed is true, which means it is successfully removing the item. Oh, I didn't even connect it here. Wait, no, what am I doing? It's update trade UI, which is running every single time. So update true, pass and false for when we're adding in an item. Okay, let's store the offer, and Loki just delete this logic. It's scuffed. Right, we just need to first identify if it's player A. So if session.player.a is equal to player, then we're going to set the offer to be the session.player player a offer. So we can actually get the correct offer table here, centered on that logic. And then if we ever offer, then we'll check if we're removing. And then if we are, we grab the index of the table we want to remove. So we can do table.find. If there is an index in the table, then we'll simply just run table.remove offer index, right? But if it's not, then we're going to check if not table.find offer item, then put it in, and that'll prevent the item from duplicating. Nice, it's a stackable item in which you can add parameters here. Okay, so the issue probably was just that I was trying to identify an array as a dictionary. That's a common issue that I run into a lot, even though I know not to do that. And also I've seen other people do it too. Alright, put item 2 in, and I can take it out, and it comes back in my inventory. Put this in, put it back, just like that. Call this in, and I can take it all out. If I can put item 1, I can put item 1, put item 2, you can put item 3, and I can simply just put it all back. Well, not here, you can't. Okay, so the adding and removing part works fine. Okay, now we can do it for the currency input here, right? So for our actual main thing, we'll connect another. Well, actually, the data we'll have to verify here. Or no, we'll just connect it. So we'll say main currency input dot focus lost connect function, and then we'll put enter pressed here. So if enter pressed, meaning that they press enter when they focus lost, then we want to, and we don't want to store this function because we're not deleting the text input. We're only using it to send in the currency we want to pass in, right? We want to update the currency. So as a matter of fact here, we'll put some more offers here. We'll say player A gems, because gems is the currency we're using. We use player B gems, and that's that right there. So let's go make another remote event here saying gems to session. So let's go up to the top here, add gems to session, and then right here we'll say fire server, put in the current session UID as well as actually what. So if they entered a number, then we're gonna send in this, right? So in our update thing here, we can add in another part where we can just change the text label, right? So we can say main.player a currency.text will equal to the session.player a currency, and we can say main.player b currency text session.player B currency. Now watch, I guarantee you I set it equal to a table when I created it. Yup, I knew it. So player A, player B, player B currency, which is what no, it's gems. What am I doing? So when we call this, right, we can actually make a variable called currency connection, and I'll set the currency connection to be this right here. And I'll just disconnect it after the trade has been completed. Now, on our trading service, let's grab the, we'll do this, right? And I will now go down here and I'll say add jump session to answer event connect function, where I pass in the UID and the amount. Where here we're simply just gonna want to set their thing to that and then run update thing. So let's say service gems to session update gems. That's update session gems. There we go. Player UID and amount. So we'll say trading service update session gems. Player UID amount. Local session for the trading service UID. Say if session, simply put a little safety stopper there. So if session dot player A is equal to player, then we'll say session dot player A gems will equal to the amount. But first, actually, let's get the data and our if data here. So we're gonna check if the data dot gems is greater than or equal to the amount that they want to put in. We'll do this. If data dot gems is greater than or equal to the amount, then we'll just run all this, and then at the bottom here, we'll call the update UI. Perfect. So that should update that for us. Let's go give it a try. So let's put in 100. I don't think it updated. Okay, maybe we'll just move this to run kind of separately to the session. So update trade UI, let's update UI, and we'll just do that right there. And let's check the code again here. So 100. So I put the item and then I press enter. It's not updating the text label. Okay. Oh my gosh, I changed it to be to number, not to string. Okay, made a couple changes because I was using to string instead of to number. So put 100. It's updating it for the other one. Wait, wrong one. I gotta go to the testing here. Alright, so added a check here, so it should switch it depending on what player it is. Okay, pass in 100. Now it did it for both of them and not for the other one. Great. Okay. Alright, 100. Perfect. 100. Perfect. Alright, let's see if I want to pass it like this crazy number. It won't let me because I don't have that much. Perfect. Okay, back to our flowchart here. Now we need to script the ready buttons. So we have our ready button. That's for the reader. We have accept and cancel. So okay, so let's grab the timer module here. This one right here, the timer, and we're gonna use that. So I don't even need it. I don't know why I have it in here. And we're gonna use that to make our like accepting and canceling system. So we need a variable for the current like timer like key. So say local current timer key. This is what key we're using for a timer. Say local player accepted is equal to false. That's for checking when we have accepted, right? And also, my super bound events here. One of them is going to be for accepting the trade, and one of them is going to be for canceling the trade. And you know what? Make a remote function for executing the trade. So we'll get updated on that. So we'll have to go over to. Wait, I got timer on the wrong line. It should be on the client side. Sorry, not on the server. Because we're going to update the timer on the client. And the server, we're going to use a delay, basically. Okay, so let's go over here, and let's add some more values to our session here. We want player A accepted, right? And we want player B accepted. We want to check if the timer is also active, and if our trade's locked, which is locking a trade is basically what prevents changing during our countdown. So anyways, in our in it here, we can now make the accept button. So main.accept. So they're accepted, we'll set their accepted equal to true, and then we could set the to be like accepted. Same thing for the cancel. What the hell? Why did I repeat? We need to get the cancel trade here too. Okay, now we can update our cleanup function here to reset the accept state. So, and we also set the so I mean, I guess I could like make it a text label. I could put it right here, and I could just call it like waiting or whatever. So this would be like our status label basically. And then also I kind of want to make a text label for the, okay, we could do like text scaled here. So this is just cleaning up our timer when we create one. And we can also put in our timer here. So that's our thing, right? Timer active. Yeah, okay. So if it's the timer active, then we're going to put our status label to be queuing in. And then, maybe we'll just call this like deco, and maybe we'll just put you right there, and you'll be our timer. And as a matter of fact, let's actually make you invisible, so that way we can wait. Oh my god, we're gonna disable it. Okay, updated some of the logic here for these buttons, so that way when they press it during the countdown, it'll tell the server what to do. So let me grab the accept trade and then cancel trade, right? And then our start. I probably should organize this better, to be honest. Right, we passed the UID in. We want to put a accept function here and decline function here. So let's go do that actually, and then we'll update it when we get back there. So let's say call it like handle accept, right, or accept trade. Basically it's going to accept the trade, right? We're going to grab our session, and then, you know, if not session, then we're going to return. So we're going to mark everything as accepted by saying session dot player accepted will equal to true. But you don't want to put else here because you need to make sure that it's player A and player B, not some random player. Fire server, fire client. I probably should just put types in the session, to be honest. So if they're both accepted but the timer is not active, then we're going to set the timer active, and we're going to lock the session so that we can't change it last second without using the timer. Fire it for player A, player B, and then here we literally just wait 5 seconds. So now at the end here, if the session still exists, they're both accepted, we're going to run the finishing the trade part, but now at the top here we can call in the, then we'll also need to make one for canceling the trade as well. So let's go back down here and say function. Oh, and by the way, I was watching a video recently about reusable code. It's by Crusher Fire. He's one of the people who I watch a lot because he makes really great content on scripting. And it was really cool because I realized that they've been making services wrong, because services are designed to be used across multiple games without a required prerequisites, but I've been making services as game-specific code, which I should not have been doing. But anyways, yeah, Crusher Fire is one of the best people ever. Yeah, I watch almost all his videos because they're really educational, and I really love it. And I'm tired. I gotta get this thing finished. Right, it's gonna be grab the session, same thing, and I'm also just going to make a remote event here to close the trade. So let's go put that at the top here, and we'll add it to the client later, but we're basically just gonna say close trade : fire client the session dot player A session dot player B. Alright, we'll put the Sasha in the column here, execute trade, right? And also I need to add the close trade update stuff there. So anyways, we'll now update you with handle cancel basically, and let's go make the execute trade code. This will be for, accepting the trade, executing the trade. So we're first going to grab the data for player A, and we'll grab the data for player B, and if not, where'd the if go? If not data A, or not data B, then we're going to run the handle cancel, because there's no data, and we can't trade without any data. Now, validate the players, make sure they have the items, right? And you could even add an anti-cheat warning here to make sure that the player is not trying to spoof an item. They don't copy the same thing over, but for player B. Now we got to exchange the items. So we're going to do the same thing we did with our finding logic here with our item. And then if the index exists, meaning they found it, we're going to remove it from the inventory, as well as inserting it into the other player's inventory, just like that. Now we're going to copy it, same thing, player B, data B, B, A. Perfect. Now we transfer the gems over. Player A gems is greater than 0, then we'll say data A dot gems will minus equal the session dot player A gems, and we'll say data B. Copy the same thing over, but we're going to do that for player B, 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 A, B. Then we can run the handle cancel again. Wait, why does it think UID is a player? Now we can connect our close trade here. So let's go grab that. And when we're running close trade, we are going to want to say, actually, we'll run cleanup. And then I'm also, inside of the cleanup function, gonna pass in a value saying close it, which is So boolean, and we're gonna check if closing, then main dot visible equal to false, and we are closing, so I'll pass in a true there. Okay, we also gotta prevent items from changing while we're locked too. I forgot. So whenever we update right here, right, we want to make sure that if it's so like right here, we need to make sure the session is locked, right? So if the session and the session dot locked, we're gonna say false, meaning they cannot. All right, let's test this. My nose is super clogged. I'm super tired. I'm actually really sweaty for some reason. I guess that's what typing for like an hour does to you. Okay, forgot to make you invisible. So let's close you on up there, and let's do that. Okay. Okay, click this, click that, perfect. There is now a timer and the waiting label here. I'm not a good UI designer, okay? So let's say I put item 1 in, and then I put item 2 in. So you're waiting for players to accept. Now, if I click accept here, it'll say that I've accepted. Now, if I click accept here, it's going to say trade executing. And why is the text label not updating? Okay, it closed it for you, but it did not close it for you. So let's go clean you up here. Find and our execute trade. Where is it? Yeah. Okay. To actually like start the timer, put that timer rule in, and then pull back here where there's release the timer, and then we'll do the same thing right here. So dehydrated. It's that should actually like start the timer. I wasn't even running it. Maybe we should like don't run this. I'm gonna like copy it like directly, like just the handle cancel function, like identifying it here. Yeah, I should like fully like put all of that here instead of running it through handle cancel. And then we also gotta store the players before we clean them up. I think that was an issue there. Actually, because here it's just gonna send it to nil. That's probably why. Well, actually, I don't even know why, because it was closing for one person, not the other. I mean, you could, like, put a check to see if the player still exists here, but it's just data we're working with, so it shouldn't be an issue if the player dies, like, throughout a trade, and if the player leaves in the middle of a trade, the data save won't go through, basically. Alright, let's go. Click you. Alright, let's give you this back, I'll accept it here, I'll accept it here. Timer is counting down, that is beautiful. And the trade has went through. And just to verify, let's trade. Okay, that's a new bug. Wait, no it's not. I'm an idiot. That, you just have, why is my mouse like glitchy like that? Okay, here we go. Let's send in 100, accept, I accept. And let's see if player 2 gets the 100 gems. Okay, so he did not get the 100 gems. That is not good. Oh wait, no. I think it is actually incoming to me. It's just that the way that I wrote my leader stats script. Yeah, it's just the way that I wrote my leader stats script. It's not live updating the thing. So, alright, that was the wrong thing. Okay, hold on. So I'll also update the thing here. So everything should be good to go. So yeah, see, I already have the deducted amount here, but we can do it one more time. So I'll send the trade over, and this time you'll give the other account, okay? And it should just update the leader stats label. There we go. Perfect. That's the quest system. Let's see how long the recording is unedited. Holy crap. Unedited. It is 3 hours long. Wow. Okay, that took a while, but this is a really good showpiece. And the RBX7 file is going to be really big. Okay, well, I'm glad that's done. Day 24 is an inventory hotbar system. Oh, that's going to be so easy. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm tired. My nose is killing me. I'm dehydrated. I'm so hungry. I'm getting off this computer. Okay, goodbye.